It's podcast unlock time. It's that time of the week. Welcome to the world's number one Xbox. Welcome to Australia's number one Xbox podcast. Also the rest of the world. Unlocked now, twice as Australian as it used to be.
Well, sort of.
Sort of.
She's not an Aussie.
It's just New Zealand, but we're counting New Zealandish.
Do you have Australian citizenship?
Not yet, actually. I'm not eligible to vote. So.
But you live in Australia.
How about
But
this?
I've lived in Australia for 6 years, just without any of the benefits of living in Australia.
It's Unlocked is now twice as southern hemispheric
Yay!
as it used to
There we
be.
go.
Beautiful.
I'm Ryan McCaffrey, who you know. Alana Pierce,
Greats.
the actual Australian, who you know. Marty Sleva, the
I'm-
not at all. Not
I've
at all
never
Australian.
been to Australia.
I really want to go. Do you
I
want to
know.
go?
No, I know
Well,
a lot about Ned
actually-
Kelly though.
PAX Oz tried really hard to get us to have a podcast there. They were like, why don't you do a Beyond or Unlocked? And I was like, well, we can't
Yep.
really get everyone there, but next year.
That would
Next
be
year.
nice.
Live
Next
Unlocked
year.
at PAX Oz.
And our special guest this week, the
Hello.
one and only Lucy O'Brien of New Zealand, who works out of our IGN Australia office in Sydney.
Thank you for actually seriously, thank you for, doing your research and recognizing that I am actually a New Zealander. Because
And
most
not
people
just
do-
lumping it all in, being like, it's all the same.
It's
doesn't
all
matter."
the same. Australia is all the
Yeah.
same. But yes, no, it is great to be here. Thank you for having me on.
I'm so happy to see you because
It's
it's
so
just
good to
we
be
don't
here, man.
we basically only ever get to see you at E3
I know.
effectively, and then maybe every few years the company weekend. I use that in air quotes because it's not on a weekend.
It was wild
Thank
this year.
God.
We had it at the office.
Oh yeah, oh, yeah. We really got wild.
Didn't go
We
anywhere.
just stayed home. It was a staycation
Yeah.
version of a company weekend, but. Yeah, are you having a good time so far?
I'm having a
in
great
our
time.
in our crumbling country.
Oh, yeah.
It's a weird time to be here.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a really it's a really strange time to be here and not be American, because I think what a lot of Americans don't not to get too political, but what a lot of Americans
slow
don't
news week. We can
necessarily
get whatever.
realize is that whatever you guys decide has a huge impact on the rest of the world.
It's
Absolutely,
terrifying,
yeah.
isn't it?
So yeah, a lot of people are always like, "Why are you so invested?" And it's like, well, I'm invested because we all have to be invested.
Yeah,
can
your-
start a nuclear
your-
war if
your
you want to.
currency,
Exactly.
Or your currency might crash, or
Exactly. Well, it's
God
already
knows
pretty
what.
bad,
Yeah, there's all
Australian
sorts of
dollar's not
things. Yeah, it's true. But there's all sorts of things. So yeah, it's been a really interesting week, particularly because we've been watching the news and a whole bunch of stuff seems to have happened this week.
Yeah, there was
really
a little
bit.
intensely.
Yeah.
I mean, that could just be every week for you guys, but it just seems
Lately.
to be.
It's
Yeah.
particularly bad right
Yeah.
now.
It seems to have just escalated to a
Well,
new level this
we
week.
all can't wait for it to be over. Thankfully, we have a bunch of video games to distract us. But you had a really special guest on your pubcast,
Yes.
your
yes.
your IGN Australia podcast, and that was the great Phil Spencer,
Yeah.
frequent viewer / listener of this show. You cornered him for an hour.
It was great. Well, what we've sort of rebranded, so that we're calling it the IGN Happy Hour now, which is
Right,
so we're
so
kind of
it's a little
distancing
less
it from
so
the pubcast.
Maybe some appetizers, less booze.
No,
Yeah,
what are you,
yeah.
happy hours are 100% about booze.
Happy hour is
I'm saying it opens the.
It's about
it
getting
ex-
liquored up as quickly as you can
It
for cheap.
expands
Pretty much.
the definition.
No, it's the gamification of drinking because
Do you
it's
guys
how.
actually drink on the podcast?
Yeah, well, I mean,
I feel like they wouldn't let us do that here.
What are you talking?
It's
We've gotten
11 a.m.
Trashed on Beyond.
That's a good point. Oh, the milk time?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was good.
so
the cream soda. Sorry.
There you go.
oh, I see. That's a beautiful makeshift label. Yeah, so let's a little bit of backstory. Phil was great. He was a very great interview.
He was down there for an Xbox Fan Fest.
and
Which,
EB
by the way,
Expo.
looked awesome.
Yeah,
Fantastic,
it did look
so
cool. They had a really cool Gears of War event
They
at
took people
at
out in
Bondi
rally
Beach.
cars.
Yeah,
for Forza Horizon. It looked crazy cool.
it was great. They went all out.
Yeah.
But yeah, fun fact. Right before that interview started, my cat had died.
Aw.
And so, no, it's awful, but it was a really hilarious situation because my cat had honestly died 2 hours earlier, and I had to interview Phil Spencer. So,
Did you tell him?
okay, this is the thing. I took half a Valium, did 2 shots of whiskey, and then had a beer. I was the only one drinking on the happy hour. And
You were not the designated driver.
it was hilarious because I was like, don't say anything about the cat, just keep it professional, don't say anything about the cat. And then a quarter of the way through, something happened with the memory card on the camera, and I was like, well, everything's going wrong today, my cat just died.
Aw. Well,
But to
he's
be-
a nice guy, though, right?
To be fair to
He
Phil,
is.
and I think this is really testament to how nice the guy is. He was just like, oh, I'm so sorry, that really sucks, and he was really cool about it. And
Yeah,
just,
he didn't
and
like laugh.
Yeah, he wasn't like,
Your
he wasn't
stupid
like,
cat.
haha, your stupid cat.
Dogs are so much
I
better
am
than
the god
cats.
of Xbox, and I am going to laugh at that. He was.
You know who can't play Xbox? Dead cats.
See, now you're just making the jokes out
Well,
of Ryan.
but
Stop.
Or he like uses it to segue to like, well, you should. I know you don't have your actual cat, but have you tried Blinks the Time Sweeper?
Also a dead cat.
Oh,
Oh, I'm so sorry, Lucy. This is so bad. Oh, no.
But yeah, I will say to his credit, he was a lovely interview, and to my credit, I managed to get through it with all that.
did a great job.
stuff
I
in
listened-
my
shout out to
system.
Valium and whiskey.
Woo! But yeah, he was great. You
Booze
know,
and
like
pills.
Yeah.
we obviously had like 2 PR people in the room with us because
Which always makes it suckier. Sorry, PR
well, it's
people.
all,
but-
it was sort of controlled. It was sort of a controlled environment, as it's always going to be. But we were able to ask him some pretty good questions, and he gave some pretty good answers. So
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you guys haven't watched it, it's the IGN Happy Hour with Phil Spencer.
yeah.
Check
Look
it
it
out
up.
because yeah, he's a good guy. And take note of my stoic, my cat totally didn't just die face.
Oh, man.
See, I listened to it, so I couldn't hear any breaks in your voice or,
Right,
or
yeah.
any other sort of
Thanks,
tone that
Valium.
gave it away.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
podcast
Yeah.
is sponsored by Valium. I actually, I went to Rockstar
Did your cat
last
die
week.
too?
No, my
Thank-
cat
all
is
right,
still
good.
living.
All right, continue.
He's a jerk. I went to Rockstar last week because we were in New York for New York Comic Con,
Yeah.
and Max Bryan and I went to Rockstar, and I was talking to the PR guy Simon, who is also Australian, super cool, and there was no one else around, but I just kept trying to like slip questions, and he just wouldn't budge.
It's because he's
Like,
good at his job.
Very good at his job. And I was talking to him for like 2 hours, and I was like, "Come on!" And I did this one thing where I like put my hand, my little fist on my chin, was like, "So how about Red Dead?" And he was like, "We're just really focused on GTA Online right now." I was like, "Damn it!" Like he just wouldn't.
Also, because if you slip up at Rockstar, the Housers probably kill you.
Yeah, I
I think
think
that's how that works.
Yeah.
There is a Westworld style like room where they just dump
They put
bodies.
they put the rest of the
just
hosts
nonchalantly.
Yeah.
They're
Have they
gone.
ever had a really bad leak?
Rockstar?
Yeah.
I'm sh-
Well,
they've had a couple.
there was that thing right before 5 came out with the whole soundtrack leaked.
Oh,
and they
yeah.
were. I mean, I don't know if you'd call that a
the
big
radio
leak, but that,
stations?
you know,
I mean,
that- they
also
always like to.
supposedly Red Dead 2's map leaked. Or Red
supposedly.
Dead 3 or whatever you want to call this.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it was the map featuring New Bordeaux, in
Yeah.
theory, the
Right.
setting of Mafia 3.
Mafia 3, which you finished reviewing,
I
Marty.
did.
Beautiful segue.
Beautiful
That was
segue.
very good.
Don't even
Nice.
need Dustin.
Elegant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I spent the better part of 72 hours.
Yeah, we didn't get
72
it.
hours.
No, I played it for 35 over the course of 72 hours.
We did not get a review advance copy, unfortunately. So you were left to. Wing
Yeah,
it,
I spent
you know.
the weekend playing the game. I gave it a 7.5, which
That's
is
good.
good.
That's
Good.
literally good, by
Good.
our
The
by our
game
scale.
has
Like how we all jump to good because we know
It's
everyone's
good.
gonna be like, "Oh, that's average."
Yeah.
No,
No,
that's
it's
fine.
literally good.
7.5 is number of deaths.
It is
Yeah.
literally the most good you can get. Well, I guess 7.9 is the most good, but it is the goodest good, the most average good you can get.
Yes.
Um,
What's a 7?
Still
Good.
good.
Seven
Anything in
is
the
good.
And an
sevens.
8 is great.
Great.
So
Great.
it's a good and a
amazing
half.
and masterpiece. Good and a half. But yeah, the thing I loved about it was the story and the characters and the setting and the acting and the writing. It is legitimately one of the best stories of any AAA game that I've played in the last part of this generation.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Love hearing that.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
He hasn't played GTA
It's
5.
is it it 2K's? It's their Spec Ops of 2016.
It is
Ooh.
their Spec Ops of 2016, except
that
it
good?
lasts 30 hours long
long.
instead of 6.
Right.
And the moment-to-moment gameplay is lacking. None of it is bad, but none of it's good.
So
Right.
it's the kind of game that you should play on easy,
You should play it on easy.
like the first Mass Effect.
Don't
which you
worry
still
about
haven't
any
played.
of the. That's because Destin told me I can't. But also, I think that whole project is scrapped. So I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
that's
start
a lie.
playing
Play Mass Effect.
Okay.
On easy.
Okay.
my point.
I've never played Mass Effect, or
Yeah,
an Elder
that's-
Scrolls game, or a Fallout game,
You-
or GTA
Marty
5.
hates RPGs, basically.
Wow,
Yeah.
I can't believe.
Except
I mean,
you
Mass
like
Effect.
Final
That's
Fantasy.
I know.
like.
I love
You
JRPGs.
hate, you
some
hate
reason
Western
I'm-
RPGs.
Oh, okay, right.
I don't hate them. I just don't play
You
them.
just don't play it.
It doesn't make sense. There was this one video we were talking about Fallout, and with the power armor, Marty referred to it as a mech suit. People in the comments were so mad.
Oh,
Like he called it a
God.
mech suit.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
that's,
a mech
it's
suit.
that's
fine.
a cardinal
I like
sin.
my favorite genre of games are 2-hour-long games.
Vignettes.
Yes.
Yeah, I like those.
So
As
you-
we like to call them, Marty games.
Yeah,
Yep,
you're a
they do
known
have a name
hipster.
around here.
known hipster.
Known
Known hipster.
Yes. Yeah, but yeah, if you want to play a game with an amazing story, Mafia 3 will do that, but it's also just the driving is fine, the shooting is fine, the cover system, when it actually works, is fine.
What's lacking about it? Like, what would you want to be better?
I used the base pistol the entire game because it never gave me any incentive or any challenge to use anything more. The enemy AI has no sense of self-preservation. The layout of most missions, aside from the big tentpole, sort of like we showed at E3 with the riverboat crashing, there's an amusement park, there's an abandoned mine. Like, those missions are really cool, but the 10 missions you have to do to get to those are all in very generic settings.
And you just shoot through everything, or is there more than that in missions?
You do this. So in the first 2 hours, you have missions where you have to assassinate someone, you have to destroy some sort of cargo, or you have to interrogate someone. You do that for the first 2 hours, and then you realize you have to do those missions in every district of the game.
Right.
And so you're redoing the exact same missions in just different locations.
That doesn't sound
ad
great.
nauseam.
That sounds.
That
really
reminds me
tedious.
of Crackdown 1,
Yeah.
which was like the core of it was cool, but once you'd played the first 4 or 5
Yeah.
hours, or
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed
Creed
1
1,
too.
yeah.
Oh, totally,
Where you
yeah.
played the first 4 hours,
Or Watch
and
Dogs
then
1.
You've done it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but I mean, just moving back to the positives, and we've already talked about this. But like you said that the story kind of goes to places that like a lot of AAA games.
Yeah,
don't
so
dare
if you
to
don't,
go to.
yeah, so you play Lincoln is a half black guy who's coming back from the Vietnam War to New Bordeaux, which is New Orleans, ostensibly in 1968, and it does deal with what it would be like to be black in the American South.
I'm really like excited to experience that. I haven't
Yeah.
tried Mafia yet, but it's insane to me that a game hasn't done that before. Well,
Yeah.
not that I've played. Like, I've never played a game that like tried to show me what racism felt like.
And also, like, it's a topic that, especially in a AAA game, like, could have been handled so terribly.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
totally could have fallen flat or just come across as superficial, but, like, it works because of the writing and the performances. And even mechanically, like, there are certain neighborhoods where if the cops are called, they'll show up in droves very quickly if it's an affluent neighborhood. And if it's a poor neighborhood, they just won't show up at all.
Wow.
Or there are stores you go in where they say, like, hey, we don't serve your kind. And if you linger, then they call the cops or pull out a gun.
It's crazy.
I mean, I just love the fact that it's unapologetically political, right? Like, I think a lot of the time, for example, like with the most recent Deus Ex, there were in a lot of their marketing, there was sort of political connotations, right? And you know, they were all like, no, it's just a bit of flavor to the game. But this, like, I like that Mafia 3 is just like, no,
It
we
embraces
are,
it.
it
we are
embraces it.
going there.
Yep,
like,
yep, yeah.
like we are actually like going there.
Yeah.
And I just think that's awesome, and that's what is drawing me into the
I
game.
feel like I don't even want to call it political. Like, I mean, it obviously is, but it's also literally accurate to what that time was.
yeah,
you
I mean,
know?
it just takes its subject matter seriously.
Yeah,
Which you know, video games have only just started to do really in the last
5 to 10
handful
years.
of years.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it also, going along with the story, has this really cool lieutenant system where early on you get 3 lieutenants. It's 3 core characters, and when you take over a district, you have to choose which one of them you give power to. And it works in terms of they're happier with you, and also they each have a sort of a progress bar skill tree. So if you want health, you give it to Vito.
Yeah, you get
If
bonuses.
Yeah, but also, so I gave everything to Vito, who was, because all of his perks were sort of in line with the way I was playing, and he was the main character you play as in Mafia 2, just an older version. And then Cassandra, who's a character I liked more as a character, but I just didn't like her perks, is like, hey, if you keep doing this and you don't give me something, we're going to have a problem. And I'm like, well, I don't like your
Wow.
perks.
That's
And
also
so
really
I gave
cool.
it to Vito, and she stands up at the next meeting, and she's like, I'm done. And and the cutscene ends, and then the mission prompt comes up, you have to kill Cassandra.
Oh
And
wow.
so that's the whole thing is your
wow.
choices in the game. Like, you can leave, you can play the game having to kill multiple lieutenants, and that affects the ending of the game. And so it was one of those things that I'm like, oh, I don't want to kill her.
That's really
but
cool.
Like,
Yeah.
I had to, because like if I would drive around the city, her Haitian mob would just start ramming me off the road. And I'm like, Jesus, I have to take care of this.
No, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Like
That's
real,
so
like
cool.
real moral choices.
Yeah, and I was like playing it with Andrew, and like I finished the mission. I'm like, well, I don't feel great about that.
Yeah, damn. I know you said you don't like the open world all that much.
Yeah, it just feels sort of empty. I like the setting.
Which is stunning because that was the chief complaint of Mafia 2, which I reviewed back in the day.
Yeah.
It's like it was a fantastic game in this unbelievably gorgeous
Mm-hmm.
world. There was nothing to do in it.
There's really nothing to
And
do.
yet,
that's-
the dev team paid that lip service every time I covered it
yeah.
on the preview beat. And to
They
hear
did
that
the
it
same
turned
thing.
out where they sort of made the same
Yeah,
mistake
like,
is
the
unfortunate.
collectibles are there, but they don't really matter. Like, they
Yeah.
don't really do anything.
So-
There's really there's very little customization that you can't, like, change the color of your car. You can't change your clothes, which is very strange in a open world game.
I
in
always
2016.
wonder if GTA has just kind of ruined other things. If we live like in a post GTA 5 world, has it totally changed our expectations?
Well,
of things?
it's raised the bar for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of pressure for devs to make these sorts of games open world.
Yeah,
Because
totally.
it's such a selling point as well. You know,
Can
everyone.
you imagine if
people love
Uncharted
to
was
hear
open
it.
world? Like that would have sucked.
Oh, it would have been.
Like I'm so glad that it
awful.
wasn't.
Yeah,
Like,
it would have been.
Mirror's
awful.
Edge suffered, in
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
opinion, for going open world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Part
mean,
of it,
I just like the idea of, like, you know, a lot of games like I guess Dishonored is a good example that are sort of semi-open, like it's a small sandbox.
Yeah.
Like you feel like you've got freedom, but
Yeah.
it's not this kind of thing where they're saying, yeah, you can do whatever you want in an endless space.
yeah,
Yeah.
this game should have been. I wish this game would have been sort of a more linear, just story-driven game.
So if I want to play through this, because I really do, I'm very interested in it. How long is it going to take me? If I don't do
If
like
you
all the open world stuff.
mainline through the story, 20 hours. Yeah,
At this time of year, I don't have that kind of time.
Right?
yeah.
There's a lot coming out.
Praise
Yeah.
Gears of War for being
Also,
short.
I'm curious. Yeah, you mentioned Gears of War.
Also
I'm curious
Skylanders.
what this game would have been like if Rod would have stayed, because Rod Ferguson
He worked.
was
that's
the,
right. He
Yeah, was
working
the
on
lead
it.
on this.
And the word on the street
Street words.
was that he clashed with 2K over sort of the direction
Yeah.
of that game. So, yeah, I wonder what Rod Ferguson's Mafia 3 would have looked like. But
Yeah.
instead, another brilliant segue on
Yeah.
our part. We're so good.
Doesn't count as a good segue if you say that before the segue, Ryan.
I'm just
Also, don't segue explain him.
Sorry.
Uh,
Someone has to look out for Destin while he's not here. You know?
Rod Ferguson did make Gears of War 4, which is
Yeah.
also coincidentally out this week. Talked a little bit about it last week, but I finalized the review. You know, so that thing where got to check the servers. You know, so everything I posted last week was everything I wanted to say except for, hey, the servers work. So
The
yeah,
servers work.
servers work. 9.2 out of 10. I loved it. I know both of you are getting close. Are you a Gears of War person, Lucy?
I'm actually not, but this one has appealed to me. I mean, just the look of this one, from
Yeah.
what I've seen, definitely appeals to me, and I will play it. It's just that I've been on vacation, so I haven't had a chance. But yeah, like, I'm really excited after reading your review.
Yeah,
So, there we
it's.
go.
I just think it's as again they just did a. It doesn't reinvent Gears of War, but it is a very very good Gears of War game.
The
both-
way that I like to explain it from what I've played is it's almost like The Force Awakens is to Star Wars.
that was
that's
exactly
his
the
review.
crux of my review.
Oh, really? Yeah. So it's like the same basic principle, but
Yeah.
refreshed, and it still feels new, and everything looks gorgeous. It's such
I
a
mean,
pretty game.
even to the point of, like, here are your 3 new heroes, and here's your Han Solo to guide them
Exactly.
through.
Yeah.
So in this, Cliff Blazinski is George Lucas and Rod Ferguson is J.J.
That's
Abrams.
a very mean
Yes.
thing to say to Cliff. That's a horrible thing to say
sorry.
to
Yeah,
him.
also true.
In fact, actually, I think they're probably both worth about the same amount of
Well,
money.
Cliff
but-
never made a terrible Gears of War 4, 5, and 6.
Well,
so,
that's
yeah.
or
Well,
1,
judgment
2, and
2 and
3.
3.
Sort of.
God.
However that works.
but-
So, like, for someone like me who I think in total I played maybe 5 hours of the original Gears of
Yeah.
War back in the day, I mean, is it fairly accessible, do you think?
Totally.
Yes.
I feel like that's hard to answer because
Yeah.
you
No,
know,
I-
if you have that much context, because we would have a lot of context, right? I think yes.
Right.
But I also can't separate myself from the knowledge I have, so
Yeah,
I don't
But I
actually
guess
know.
I guess the question is, like, does it have layers and layers of systems that you know, sort of expect you to have a prior knowledge?
Not
No,
really.
And
No,
the,
I
the
actually-
tutorial does a pretty good job.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think I think the Coalition did actually a really good job of sort of balancing the approachability for less versed Gears players with the fan service
Yeah,
of
cool.
veteran Gears players.
Like
You know,
The Force Awakens.
The way
Yes.
the way the game begins. Not to spoil it, because by the way, we're going to do our spoiler cast next week because you guys have been busy with reviews and
finish
haven't had a chance to finish. So we'll do it at the end of next week's show. So you can still listen to next week's and just stop when we get to it. But yeah, I think the way the game starts is, let's just say it kind of again does some fan service to the of calling back to the original trilogy while still kind of catching you up in a smart way if you haven't
Cool.
really
Yeah.
played the first 3. So yeah, just great job all around. I will say though, I'm going to do the typical gamer thing of, well, that was fun. Now let's talk. Let's go to the next thing. But I do think that the Coalition will have to. I'm not sure they can quite get away with Gears 5. I'm not sure they'll get away with playing it quite so safe. Like this one does play it pretty safe in the sort of gameplay mechanics department. Yeah, they added the DBs are great and the Swarm are pretty cool, but I think just the core mechanics of the game are going to have to evolve a little bit more.
Ryan Johnson in episode 8.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they did it that way intentionally, and it's also they
Oh,
get
for sure.
they get away with it because it's been such a long time since Gears 3,
Yes.
so it doesn't feel stale. But you know,
Right.
if it had come out a year after, everyone would have been like,
Why
this
do
is
you
the exact same game.
never acknowledge Judgment?
Yeah.
Judgment's
I'm
great.
sorry. What are you? What?
Judgment's great.
I've never heard of it.
It's just can't even.
You've never heard of like the abstract concept of
So
Judgment?
anyway, Gears of War 3.
The last Gears of War game.
People can fly getting
Right?
dissed.
Somewhere in the cold Canadian wilderness, Mitch is crying.
He is.
Aw.
He is
Yeah.
weeping frozen tears.
Yeah.
That
R.I.P.,
are
the
that
ghost of
freeze
Mitch.
on his way on the
He
way
literally
down the
texted
face.
me during the show. I don't think he's dead at all. Texted me
What?
5 minutes ago.
That was
Texted you?
that was a scheduled text.
Can you do that?
I
Probably.
Haven't you seen Black Mirror?
That's exactly what I was thinking. It's Black Mirror. Also, if you've seen Black Mirror, there's a new season starts on the 22nd.
Yeah.
I'm
I
excited.
am super excited.
Yeah. Same.
Have you seen it, Ryan?
I don't know what we're talking
Black
about.
Mirror is just an excellent.
It's like modern
series.
Twilight Zone. Real
Yes.
Oh, cool.
But
It's
deals
very,
with
very good.
technology.
Yeah.
Nice. I'll have to check that out. What's
Totally
that
check
on?
it out.
What service is that
Netflix.
on? Okay, I have that.
I think it's only on
Well,
Netflix.
Yeah, or BBC. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have
Hopefully
Watch
it's
it
on
on
Netflix,
Netflix.
so I can watch it in
Yeah.
my backwards country.
Oh, is it on Australian Netflix?
Well, if it's like a Netflix like original.
It's not an original.
God
No.
damn it.
that. Wait, are you guys allowed to have Gears of War 4? I'm being semi-serious. Isn't your like ratings board guy like super strict and
It's totally exaggerated.
It's
super
yeah,
exaggerated?
It's all
Good.
It's all been overhauled.
Good.
Now, thank
We got
goodness,
R18.
we got an R18 rating, which
Was
we
that
did
last
not
year?
have before.
2 years ago?
It
It was recently. but-
just seemed like
because I remember
honestly,
there was a time
never ending.
maybe I don't know 5, 6, 7 years ago where I felt like that issue had kind of bubbled up where
Yeah,
it
it was.
was
so there
just-
was Left 4 Dead 2 was censored.
Because of pills?
Pills here.
Pills here.
No, it was actually just that the bodies
Sl-
disappeared.
yeah.
They didn't stay. It wasn't a huge deal. I didn't care.
Huh.
And then it kind of really got heated with Saints Row 4 when they censored certain parts of that game, and people were pretty mad about it. Same thing happened with South
South
Park, actually.
Park,
But
yeah.
the things
that's
that they
right.
censor, I'm kind of okay with. Like, I'm usually super against censorship, but in Australia, before we had the R18, they were censoring specifically sexual violence. So it was rape jokes they were censoring.
Right.
And it's like, I get that you want to make that not funny. Like, you don't want kids to laugh at that kind of stuff. Because then they, like, don't take it seriously and laugh about it. That's
But-
basically what
yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
I don't. This could go on for
Yeah.
another half hour because I don't know. I'm of the mind where it's up to parents to have the responsibility to be.
Yeah. So the argument was
to
that
be-
parents can't watch everything.
Yeah, parents are
which-
terrible,
which-
though. Most
yeah.
parents are awful.
That it was super discussed. But now we have
Yeah.
R18, so it's you can only buy it if you have ID. You can't even buy it for a minor if they're with you. So it's like they take it really seriously. And I
Well,
feel
that's
like
good. That
Yeah.
sounds like a
sorted
good
out.
system.
It is good.
It is good, and it's also
Good.
good. Like it's important that everyone like finally recognizes that because I
Yeah.
feel like Australia has kind of it's still got that reputation of being like the land of the video game censorship, and really it's not like that at all anymore. Thank goodness,
Yeah.
because
Yay.
everything finally, people kind of came to their senses, and
Yeah.
finally we got
Took
the
a long
rating that we
time.
needed. Because
Yeah.
it was ridiculous. Like
It's like
you
we were
know,
all really worried about GTA 5 before that came out.
Everyone was
like,
really
"Oh,
worried."
No, like what if
Yeah.
we don't get that game? But I don't think anything is censored anymore at all.
no.
Is there anything that hasn't passed through R18? There might have been a couple of like
There was a-
Steam games.
There was something recently, and I honestly can't remember,
Well,
but it
must
was
not have been that good.
They're not
it was
AAA
a
games.
sexual violence thing.
Was it
usually
hatred?
is.
It might have been Hotline Miami 2.
Oh yeah, that totally was a thing.
Yeah.
Hotline Miami 2 was an
that
issue.
was an issue. So yeah, like
But it's still very uncommon. Just
it's
like-
still very
Good.
uncommon. Very uncommon. Yes.
Glad to hear that your government has sorted itself out.
Well,
It was like the,
At least,
Well,
in that regard.
you
It
know.
was basically like the classification, like the rules, because everyone who's on the video game classification board are people who play video games and like video games.
Good.
So all of them, because that's how they basically take submissions, is from people who are gamers. It's just that the list that they have to check off, like no matter how much they like games, it's like an objective list. So it's like, well, no, this doesn't pass this. I can't pass this game. It's like, it was just a very outdated system, I think.
yeah.
All right. Well, just a little bit of news to cover this week. I guess first I'll get these company-mandated plugs out of the way. We mentioned this last week. We have, pardon me, we have spoken editions of our stories now on
yeah.
iTunes.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. I guess you just search for that on iTunes, and someone, not us.
Yeah, a Weird Robot Man
We'll-
read my Mafia review.
we'll read you-
Which I found weird because I read my own Mafia review. They could have just used that.
Weird Robot Man?
Yeah, there's a Weird Robot Man.
Is it actually a
I
robot?
can't
Like
tell
it's
if
a
it's a
program?
human or a program.
Well, is it? So it's
I can't.
as opposed to a recorded read versus like a Siri type thing where it's
Yes.
just piecing words
Yes.
together.
Wow.
I can't tell.
So are the inflections kind of weird? Because that's a giveaway.
I liked my read better.
I should hope so.
I like going into the VO booth and being all sultry and sad.
Yeah, you do sound
Yeah,
really
you
different
have
when
a
you
you
read
have
VO.
a
It's like,
you have one of my favorite
Mafia
VO
3
reads.
Yeah.
was an
I just get
incredible
rip roaring high before I get in that VO booth,
Oh.
which is weird because I record most VO at like 10 in the morning.
journey. You should do one of those nature documentaries. And here we see
Oh yeah, I do that.
the Marty Sleva.
Yeah, I mean I do that, but
Wow.
the microphone's never on. Wait,
Notice the bottle in
am I-
his hand.
I'm doing a nature
What do
documentary
you
on
mean? That
myself.
is
Yeah,
himself.
by yourself.
He's doing. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a slippery slope.
Yeah,
Alcohol.
So yes, if reading is not for you, you can go on iTunes and things on IGN will be read to you for you, possibly by weird robots and not Marty.
That seems like a plus to me.
they should go back and do some of our big like history of pieces, like the Mitch and
that'd
Colin
be
did
cool.
the history of like Naughty Dog
Yep.
and UB Montreal and Sucker Punch. I'm gonna tell those robots to read those.
Agree.
Yeah.
And they can't say no because they're robots. They have to do
Well,
what
they
you tell them
absolutely could say yes or say wait.
Depends on the programming, guys. Come
They
on.
can't say no.
Well, they
Robots can
can.
say
Yeah.
They-
Watch any movie ever about robots. It never ends well. Robots in space. Nothing ends well.
Well,
Point.
Yeah.
I think you've got me there.
Westworld.
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 I was going
Yeah,
to
we're
say
heading down
Westworld.
there. And then finally, our YouTube channel. Fun stuff going on there. Subscribe if you like us.
Are our Gears of War Let's Plays up?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Anyway,
There were some good debates about whether it was that weird horse thing about whether it was a horse or not.
Oh yeah, we argued quite a bit about whether.
Oh,
the
the Gears 4.
Ugly. Is
Ugly.
it ugly?
Ugly. Its name is Ugly. Yeah.
In like the first act of
Right,
Gears.
yeah, the-
whether that's a
the-
horse or not a horse.
not
that is 100% not a
That
horse.
is absolutely a horse.
It's not a horse.
As
Totally
the one
not
of
a
us who
horse.
spent several hours around horses in his life.
It's a horse-like creature
Several hours.
that bears a resemblance to horses, but is clearly not a horse.
It is definitely not a
I
horse.
think you guys need
Thank you,
to
Ryan.
broaden your horizons.
Can I just? Can I
Hashtag
just,
not a horse.
I just want to just quickly add a quick horse anecdote.
Horse
when-
Oh, please.
I auditioned when I was 14. I auditioned to be an elf in the Lord of the Rings trilogy back in New Zealand.
Amazing.
And I ticked on the box because you had to fill out a form, and I ticked on the box that I was an expert horse rider.
Yeah.
And literally the only time I'd ever ridden a horse in my life, it had bucked, and I spent the whole rest of the time crying while someone like sung me a nursery rhyme to try and calm me
Right.
down, and I still ticked expert.
Well-
and it's like the story ends tragically because I didn't even get the part.
Oh, that
I was
sucks.
ready. I was ready to get on a horse
Also,
and
Lord
pretend
of
like
the
that,
Rings.
that would have been insane because that would have been you in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
That would have been Alyssa, our UK host, was in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
She was a Hogwarts
Really?
student. Yeah.
Oh.
And Andrew
Andrew?
was a gossip girl.
I love that Andrew was a gossip girl. But
Yeah.
to be honest, I don't really
I guess
know.
a gossip boy.
I'm not really. I don't really know why I auditioned because I had braces and I don't really think they had those in
Elves.
Middle Earth.
Well, just
We don't know that.
You just have your mouth
keep your mouth closed.
We don't know that.
There was CG.
Keep my mouth closed as I expertly ride my horse.
Yes. Yeah. It's only 2 issues. It's fine.
Yeah.
That's how they hire people in movies.
Anyway, that's my horse anecdote.
That was a really
for the
good
day.
That was a
horse
good
anecdote.
horse
We're
anecdote.
so
Cool.
close, yet so far.
Good.
Anyone else got any horse anecdotes? We wanna
I'm
someone
allergic
horse
to
podcast?
horses.
Really?
I mean, I imagine I
That
am
is
too,
an interesting.
actually.
Well, yeah, you probably are.
I'm allergic to everything.
My allergy treatment does not include horses, so
I
you know,
get
They're
I
pretty
kind of get
uncommon.
that.
because you're not
like,
around them.
it's quite-
So
yeah.
I went to my in-laws were in town and they wanted to take us with our kid to that Odysseo or Odysseo, whatever that horse show is.
The horse show that
Isn't
we
it
kept
The horse show.
that we kept stealing all the pamphlets from. I'm very sorry I said that horse show and then pointed at you.
This is also a fun anecdote. The coffee shop around the corner kept advertising that show,
Yeah.
and we kept stealing the ad and putting it on Brian's desk 4 times, and they kept replacing it. And then, like the last time, they put it behind the counter because people kept stealing.
So anyway, just being in the because they just set up it's just a traveling show. It's a giant tent that
Yeah.
they erect over here by the ballpark. Just being in the tent watching the show, there was an intermission, and at intermission I actually had to leave because I started to be able to
Wow.
not breathe.
That's what I'm like
just
around
from all the
cats.
horse stuff,
That's
horse
just
dander
like horse like
in the air.
horse bits, like
Yeah.
like the
Don't
just
say
the-
horse bits.
So
horse bits.
horses are my
It's
kryptonite.
the name of my
FYI.
autobiography.
That
I'm
is-
like that with cats. If I'm in a room with a cat, I need to leave.
and
That's a
that
tragedy.
I'm treated for that. Like I can actually be around cats now, but horses still.
Also, now you
lethal.
know what I feel like when we do Maggie podcasts in the room.
Remember
Well,
that time she
what
hotboxed
makes
us?
me
Yeah, Maggie
feel
hotboxed
extra
us.
bad.
She fought it in this room one
Two
time.
very quick horse stories. Got
is
real.
good. No,
got,
let's keep
got-
going.
More-
on Sunday, I got real drunk in
The
Golden
world's
Gate
number
Park
one horse
and did a
cast.
picnic, and
did
a
a cool
couple rode
picnic?
by, just riding horses in Golden Gate Park, which is very strange.
That's cool.
Because I was like, this is the middle of San Francisco, and
It's
you're
like
just riding
super
horses
majestic.
through the park. Second is I went to the Dark Souls restaurant in Tokyo a couple years back and accidentally ate horse. That was story number 2.
What did it taste like?
It tasted like,
Like chicken.
yeah.
Everything
Yeah.
tastes
Like just like generic meat.
Yeah, tasted.
Like it wasn't super gamey or anything. Because I just imagine it would taste like kangaroo, like super
Yeah.
gamey.
we ate kangaroo there too.
Right.
Yeah,
What'd you think of that?
that was very gamey.
It's very gamey.
Yeah. Also ate a crocodile in the shape of a dragon claw.
Oh.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
When I
That's
was
pretty
in
interesting.
New Orleans, I had a crocodile hot dog. Alligator
Croc
hot dog,
dog.
actually.
Yeah,
I was
alligator.
croc dog.
I think crocodiles are only in Africa.
We definitely have those in Australia.
I mean, sorry, they're not in
They're
America.
only in Africa. Oh, by which I mean not in America.
Well, Australia, the East Africa.
The other
Yeah, you're right.
Africa.
You're right. Yeah,
Australia.
Good point. Yeah.
Shut up.
Cuphead.
Those are some good horse stories.
We'll be right back after we figure out who we are and what we're doing with our lives. Right after this. Okay, let's get back on the horse trail, shall we?
You're not helping.
No, I'm not. That's my job, is to just poke and prod every now and again. Just a couple of news stories this week. Not that didn't already stop us from having a really weird podcast. We could have just ended it where we
30
left
minutes.
off.
Yeah.
That would have been fine. But no, here we go, soldiering onwards to talk about actual Xbox things. First up is Cuphead, a game that people would continue to tweet me about. Like, hey, Ryan, remember how they said 2016? Still think it's going to be 2016? They haven't said anything. I'm like, nah, it's not going to be 2016. Sure enough, yesterday was the day that Studio HDMR came out. And no, Studio Shoot. That is not HDMR.
ASMR.
Nope.
No.
And
I don't know what your
MD. Dang it.
MDMA.
MDMA.
Nope.
EDM.
Can't remember. Chad
MMORPG.
Moldenhauer and his brother Jared
FPS.
and their small team of very talented artists and developers. Sorry, I can't remember. MDHR? I have to look this up.
They are really lovely people.
Okay, let me
I'm
look it
gonna
up.
look it
You,
up.
you
Thank
tell,
you.
tell the news story. We got it.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
look
so
it up.
Cuphead was officially delayed to the surprise of absolutely no one. And I don't say that in a mean tone at all. I mean, it's just, it's October 11th, 12th as we record this. That game was.
If you don't have a release date, you're probably not coming out in
You're
2016.
100% not
Studio MDHR.
I think we said that.
We said all those letters. I don't know if we
So-
said them in that order.
Still counts.
Thank you, Lucy.
Oh, you're welcome.
Studio MDHR. Yeah, surprise to nobody. They said, quote, throughout this year, we discussed reducing the scope to make a 2016 release, but we made the difficult decision to delay the launch in order to ship with our vision intact. We are happy to announce that Cuphead will be coming to Xbox One, Windows 10, and Steam in mid-2017.
I feel like announcing another release date was a bad idea.
Also,
Well, if they have to stick to that window.
they don't have to stick to that. Like
They don't have to, but I'm saying PR-wise, in a sense.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But this is like I like this race between
Below?
and Rhyme. It's like the
yeah.
tortoise versus the tortoise versus the tortoise.
I'm actually like, I mean, obviously there has been silence, so it is unsurprising. But I played that game a bunch of times, and it seems really polished. It
Right?
seems like
I know,
really
right?
like
Yeah.
complete.
Yep.
So I
Played
wonder
it
what's.
2 years ago, and it was polished.
Well-
yeah, it's kind of
Crazy.
odd that it's,
We've played it at almost literally every major convention for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's shown up at the last 2 or maybe even 3 threes, but the last 2 for sure. It's been at pretty much every PAX. So I think it was at Gamescom the last. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
it's
in the
there
lounge at
every
Comic-Con.
time,
Yeah.
and that's gotten to the point where we cover it every time because it's looked in every way, not just visually great, but it's now gotten that
It's fatigue.
pre-release No Man's Sky effect to it where people are just tired of hearing about it and just like, when is it out?
Yeah.
I am,
Yeah.
and so the unfortunately that public that enthusiasm for it seems to have very much turned not quite, not towards like just a mean,
Not
awful
a No Man's
thing,
Sky kind of.
but it is
territory.
that the bloom is off the rose for
Absolutely.
Cuphead,
I
and
wonder how much pressure, because it's an ID at Xbox game.
Yeah.
I wonder how much pressure Xbox gives them, if any. Because
Well,
if it's
I don't.
a small
ahead.
team of indie devs wanting to repeatedly add things to a game. We have a friend, Dan Hines, who's working on this game called Wildfire that he's been working on for like over 1,000
I like
hours.
the title.
Yeah.
Game looks really cool, but it's like, Dan, when is this game going to come out? Because everything that I see of it, it's like he just keeps adding stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
just like so iterative.
right.
Like, yeah, his
and that's what I
process, yeah.
wonder could be happening with Cuphead, where it's like it's a small team, and they're like, but what if we did this? What if we did this? So they're
You're-
excited and they just can't stop.
You're referring to feature creep, which is a real thing that has doomed games before. I mean, that's a primary reason that Duke Nukem Forever went
Yeah.
into the vortex,
God.
the hellish vortex
Yeah.
it went into. But yeah, I mean, for me with Cuphead, just if I were advising them, I would say, okay, you've made this delay. You've said mid 2017. Go dark until the game is actually
Stop
done.
having
Inside.
Then maybe come like send a build out to press. Have like one last round of okay, it's done. Here's some coverage, and there's a firm release date, and then put it out. That's how
I mean,
would-
that was Inside. It
Well,
got revealed,
yeah.
and then for years we didn't hear anything, and then all of a sudden in May they were like, "Here's a preview build. We're out in a month."
I honestly.
well, other than they'd never done any preview
Yeah.
coverage, like they just
Yeah.
that was
It wasn't
crazy.
yeah, I mean, that game would preview so badly.
yeah,
I
bet.
wrote the preview for Inside. It did really well.
No, I mean like at PAX.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Like, that would do really bad.
Yes.
I honestly think, and like I know this is an Xbox podcast, but I honestly think that people have learned and are learning from No Man's Sky in that regard.
Yeah.
And like in terms of the way that we announce delays, and in terms of what we show, from a PR perspective.
Yeah.
Like I think people just are adjusting the way that they're dealing with these kinds of. Of these kinds of delays, basically.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I think that going dark is a much smarter idea than like constant announcements
having it
and
every day
having to
packs.
explain everything. And
I mean, but at this point, I don't even know what this game is. It was originally basically
Boss rush.
Yeah.
yes, and then they added like platforming.
Yeah.
And now they're saying they don't want to reduce the scope. Like, what is the scope? Now?
So-
what is this game?
It's
now?
now walking simulator.
it's open world.
Yeah,
It's a
open
Marty
world.
game.
Yeah.
Oh, another one bites the dust. My interpretation of that is they contemplated cutting the platforming stuff.
Right.
Right.
Possibly
Yep.
because it wasn't necessarily as up to the level of the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But my thing now, and by the way, that was what I wanted to say to your point earlier of when you were talking about feature creep of, I actually going to say that I think it's the opposite of you were asked if Microsoft was maybe
pressure.
pressured them to get it out this year. I think it's the opposite.
Microsoft wants it to be better.
I think Microsoft, in fact, I'm pretty sure that Microsoft actually gave them more money and said, this is awesome. Here, take some more resources and go make sure it's as good as it can possibly be.
Well, in our happy hour, old mate Spence.
Yes.
Which is how
Old
I
man
call him.
Spence.
That's
Old
how I
mate
refer to
Spence.
him from this very second. That was kind of his when I asked him about Xbox's support of indie games. That's kind of what he was saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's not about rushing to get them on the shelves. It's about getting them to the best point they
Yeah.
possibly
Yeah.
can be.
Yeah, when we were up in Portland for Tacoma's first, Steve Gaynor said the same thing of that when they decided to delay, Microsoft was super supportive of it because they're very hands off and they just want the final
Yeah.
thing to be good. So
I guess that would indicate that they don't give them any marketing help. Like, I would
What do you
think. Well, it's obvious to us that Cuphead shouldn't more like PR help. Cuphead shouldn't be at every event. And I feel
Oh,
like
yeah,
if
yeah, I see.
Microsoft had input, they would be like, stop showing people this
I
game.
see what you mean. Okay, yeah.
But I guess they don't have any influence over that, which kind of is nice to let the indies do whatever they want.
It'll be interesting to see if it's at PAX Australia this year.
Probably.
It probably
I mean,
will
Was
be.
it
Right?
last year?
It was, yeah.
You do notice like Below hasn't Below laid low for the
Yes.
last
Yeah.
few
Yeah.
kind of shows,
Yep.
which I think is smart.
yeah, the game
Like,
was
it's-
sort of in that ubiquitous phase for like a
was.
month, for like a year, and
It
then
was-
they went off the grid.
It was playable at the Xbox showcase at E3 2013 when they just announced, when
Yeah.
that was before the the Xbox One had come out. So, yeah, so that's another one. And what did Nathan last say? Did he say mid 2017 as well, or did
I
he
think
say
he just said 2017.
Just 2017. Man, I mean, the thing is though, for people that complain about it or be like, oh, F Cuphead, like no, it's now would be a terrible time to release Cuphead anyway.
Right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
It'd be
insane.
It'd be terrible for Cuphead.
It
Yeah.
would get swallowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So take your time, do it right, and hopefully the whole thing is going to turn out as good as what we've been seeing for the last couple of years. Because
Yeah.
man,
It looks great.
Oh, remember when it was first revealed? It was like in a sizzle reel. I
And
think.
everyone was
Yes,
like,
it
"What
was.
the hell's that? Go
Everyone
back
was
to
like,
one
no,
thing."
no, no,
Hold
rewind
on.
Yeah, one of those ID and Xbox montages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the dubstep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Quality.
Quality.
oh man. All right. Next up and last up, news-wise, Mass Effect Andromeda. Remember that one?
Oh yeah.
That's people are maybe wanting to play that a little
Yeah.
bit.
Ryan, how was the release date outed?
How?
By a dark horse.
Dark Horse Comics.
We did it.
Yes, Marty.
Horsecast.
You are my god.
Horse-headed god.
Horsecast
That's
unlocked.
not an insult.
Horsecast. Also, that sounded like Horsecast Unlocked.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know what happened. I'm gonna move on.
Oh, remember? Thanks.
Yeah, it is fitting that Dark Horse Comics gets a shout out on this week's podcast. Yeah, they're doing the Mass Effect Andromeda comic series, graphic novel series, whatever you want to call it, and the Amazon listing for
They're actually doing the Art of Mass Effect.
Art of
Andromeda
Mass.
book.
Sorry,
They
not
really screwed that up.
whatever. It doesn't matter.
I
They're-
love art books.
They can be cool.
It matters
yeah.
to me.
So they appear to have confirmed the March 21st, 2017 date because the pre-order listing on the Amazon page says Dark Horse will release the Art of Mass Effect Andromeda simultaneously with the game, and it lists the specific release date for that art book
Wow.
of
Oh, dang.
Wow.
March
That's
21st.
so blatant.
So yeah, whoops.
Huh?
Cool.
That seems fitting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The things we've heard. Yeah.
we would have expected about just the same anyway.
So
Now,
Marty, are you gonna play that?
I'm going to finish all three of them before this, out of spite.
No, you're not.
Out of spite.
you
You're
are
absolutely
100% not going to do that.
To spite both of you, I will.
Should we
You
bet?
won't.
Should we bet him in and out?
Yeah.
In and out
Yeah,
lunch?
in and out
Yep.
lunch. Yeah.
Like, will you even play the original? Oh,
I think
I
you
would have
can play,
spiked-
I think you'll play
you-
the first one. I
no,
don't think you'll play all
chance.
You
three.
guys underestimate how often I do things out of spite.
Oh,
Like that is my main motivation is
Yeah.
to
So-
prove both of you wrong. I don't care about playing the games.
Even if you mainline all three, which you won't
So
because you're
noble.
going to start to play it and you're going to really like it and you're going to want to explore
That's
other
going to be
things.
60 hours.
I would say 30 to 40 each.
Mm-hmm.
So you're.
I played 35 hours of Mafia in 3
But
days.
that was
you got
because
paid
you had
to.
you had a job obligation.
I'm gonna start a GoFundMe, a Patreon,
Help
To
Marty
do what?
play Mass
a
Effect.
Spitreon.
play the game for
By
you.
Patreon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alana
I
and
think
I
you play
bet
the first
you.
one. I don't think you're going to finish all three.
Alana and I bet you in and out. Where we will each buy you in and out.
Do I have to eat it in one sitting? That
Yeah,
seems like a
you'll
lot
get-
of food.
you'll get two
You have
today.
to eat,
That's a bad-
eat all of it at once. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a great
you have
bet.
to, you have to
We
eat
bet
it.
you
Also,
that-
you have to eat it all at once.
You will
That's
not
the-
finish.
That's the terrible like lose.
Monkey's paw.
You will not finish all three games by March 21st, 2017. There's no way that happens.
If I don't finish it, I will quit the show.
don't do
Wow,
that.
I thought the burger bet was a lot better. All right.
Apart from that, you have to eat
With
it
the
all
burger
at once.
bet, we all win because even if whoever loses,
gonna
still,
buy
we all
myself
get
a
in and
burger
out.
too.
Yeah.
I already told Pear that if I don't get new glasses by Halloween, he can fire me.
Cool.
I go
Okay.
all
Time's
in.
running out.
I lean hard on
Okay,
defense.
see ya.
That's a real
No way that you're
interesting.
doing that.
Also, we
field
happen to have a new senior editor position
Also,
open.
I like how you say he can fire you. You know he can fire you at any point in time if he wants. Like it doesn't have to be before.
Yeah, California is not a right to work state, right? So I
He can
think
fire you whenever.
No, you can't. I got juice on him. A bunch of juice on him. Is that what it's called? Juice?
do you have an Access Hollywood tape?
Is it
Yeah.
juice?
I got
not
I got
juice.
the juice on him.
I
You
don't
got the.
think that's.
No, that's
Got
not
the-
it.
No, I've
No.
definitely got juice on him.
I don't.
I don't think that's right.
I just keep hearing that like it's a sex thing.
I've,
Like,
I've
you
definitely
did
got
what
the
on
juice
Pear?
on him. Definitely got the juice on
I
him.
think you can say you've got stuff on it.
I got pear juice.
Oh.
That's
Yeah.
No, pear!
are
Because the
we-
word a pear is a fruit. Get your minds out of the gutters. Jesus, you
Are-
Southern Hemisphere
are we doing this?
weirdos.
We're betting, right?
Yeah, we're betting.
Are we betting?
That's down.
Are
Yeah, we're
we
betting.
doing this?
We're betting.
Yeah.
We
Okay,
bet.
the bet is official.
Brian really likes In and Out. very serious.
Are you an In-N-Out fan? Because we're still working on this one.
See,
Have you been here?
I've never had it, so I really want it.
Oh,
I've
okay.
never had
Don't
it.
do that. That's why it was disappointing to me because I really wanted it.
Okay,
Okay,
so
but you've had it.
Yes.
It's
not-
fine.
it's better than
I mean,
fine.
do
Shut up.
you eat meat or do you like burgers?
No, yeah. So I'm a big burger person.
Oh, okay. All right.
But like I was at E3. My colleagues got it, and I had just eaten, so I sort
Wait,
of.
aren't we your colleagues?
Well, my Australian colleagues. You guys are my colleagues. My Australian colleagues.
The B
Not
level
you
colleagues.
specifically, the Australian. You are my Australian colleague.
I made that a lot more complicated.
It is really funny every time in the morning meeting when we say something like, "Oh, Australia took care of it over the night."
I have a name.
They said, so I watched them eat it, and they were like, "This is a really good burger," and it looked great. Like, so I do want to try it, but I
Okay.
just don't see them around. Like you guys are always talking
hold
about
on,
it.
I know
and
they're
that-
coming.
So it's about 10-15 minutes from here, but we have to drive.
Right.
But not everybody. Some people take mass transit. I drive. So how long are you? You're here till Tuesday, right?
I'm here till Tuesday.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check. We're gonna check schedules after this, and we'll make it happen. We'll all go.
I've been meaning to go on a Friday for
We will
super
all
long
go.
time.
Yeah, I got to check calendar. I have a bunch of dumb things.
I
have
really
to do
need to
this week.
finish playing Skylanders.
I'm so excited.
Burgers
about
come
this.
first.
Plastic toys on a thing with a Diablo clone.
I love
7.8
Skylanders.
out of 10.
Diablo clone is my favorite type of game.
There, we're done. See, we did it. Now let's go eat.
right.
That sounds amazing. Let's
right.
do that.
I don't know
Good.
how we got here. We were talking about
I
Mass
don't
Effect.
even know, but yeah.
Oh, Marty's not gonna play them. That's right.
Shut up.
Well, let's be real.
It would ruin Marty's hipster game cred if he played Mass Effect.
No, I really want you to. I'm rooting for you, man. I want you to play them.
You will love Mass Effect. Also play GTA 5.
No.
Okay. Thanks.
He says wearing a Diamond Dogs T-shirt from
I played Metal Gear Solid 5. I love Metal Gear Solid 5. Also,
play GT. GT is
love
the
Metal
best
Gear
game of the
Solid 5?
generation.
yeah, the Metal Gear Solid series is like my favorite series
Yeah,
of all
it's
time.
the greatest.
You give us so many cutscenes.
You have so many cutscenes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My life is a giant cutscene. That's all it is.
True.
I barely have any control. There's
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's. You
Wait,
know?
no.
That's what it feels like.
That's- Okay.
No, you have mild control in a Kojima cutscene. You could sort of like pivot the camera a little bit.
Yeah.
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 We all have a mild
Which we all
control
do,
over
like,
our lives.
Feels like my
like,
life.
Pivot
Yeah.
the camera a tiny bit.
Pivot the
Yeah.
camera. Pivot the
Yeah.
camera.
Let's go to our special guest, Lucy O'Brien, to tell us what we can spend our money on this week in the Marketplace Report.
In the United States.
Yes. She said, "What?
Oh, that means actually.
You live? Oh,
I put my finger up for people who are watching the audio. It means actually.
In the United States, at retail, this week, you can play. Am I just reading these out?
Yeah, just read them.
yeah. So tell us what's up.
Gears of War 4, WWE 2K17, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration, Metal Gear Solid 5, the definitive experience, which I will definitely.
Yeah, Marty.
That's why I
Hashtag
wore. That's why I
cutscenes.
wore my shirt.
You know,
No, it's
by the way, calling it the definitive experience. If I had purchased it last year, that would make me feel like crap.
Also, it's not the
Like,
definitive experience
hey.
because the ending got cut. So
Whoops.
Well,
But on Tomb Raider, I'm thinking that I'm going to cosplay as Lara Croft for Halloween.
that's
That
not
would be-
cosplaying. That's
you'd be
dressing
great.
up.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
called
you'd
dressing
be
up for
great.
Halloween. It's not called cosplaying.
Well, I'm going to like go all out though.
It's the original call.
Yeah, I
called-
mean, what is what is the line between dressing up and cosplay?
I feel like dressing up is buying it.
Right,
No,
and
but
No,
you can still be a
'cause Max is
cosplayer if you
dressing
buy
up.
stuff. Well, I feel like
Also, your house is gonna have rad costumes.
it is. Yes.
Max is going as Venom Snake.
yeah,
Peppers
Nice.
is going as Diamond Dog.
Yes.
Yeah.
His
Well
fiance
played.
is quiet. It's going to be amazing.
and I'm an
Callie's going as Bulma.
Really?
Yeah,
nice.
the bunny-eared Bulma.
Oh, Bonnie Bulma, I want to do
Yeah.
that for so long.
and
It's gonna be
I will be cosplaying as Holtzman just by myself sitting
That's
in
good.
my
Yeah,
apartment.
yeah, that sounds right.
Like I won't even be like at a
You
party.
could do that really well.
Because Australia
It's not
doesn't
even
really
cosplay, you just
Australia
sort
doesn't
of-
really do Halloween
Not as
like,
much.
as
You
much.
sort of
so-
live as Holtzman.
There are
Yeah,
no.
I try to.
There are no ghosts to scare away in
yeah,
Australia.
pretty.
It's
yeah,
true.
Just spiders.
It's a great country. It's clean.
Thanks, Ryan.
No ghosts.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
it's
has been a
fine.
really pro-Australia like
It's
podcast.
totally fine.
I feel really good
it's
about
in
this.
the middle of my ranking of the continents list.
All right, on
Next to
digital.
Africa.
Next to Africa.
Take that, Antarctica, and your melting caps. Can't even keep your ice together.
You had one job, Antarctica, to keep your ice together.
Out on digital, Mantis Burn Racing for $15.
What a name.
Sounds like sex thing.
Yeah.
We make fun of the names every time, but they are.
That's because the names are bad.
Real
Castle Invasion thrown out for $5.
Oh, that's much better than Mantle Bone Racing.
Appreciate the pun, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thrown.
Thrown out.
So
Yeah.
like thrown
Yeah.
is in the fancy chair.
Yeah.
Duke Nukem
Fancy
3D 20th Anniversary World Tour for $20.
I'm a big dirty dog.
Big dirty dog.
20 years.
part where all you Duke Nukem
to go to
voices.
college.
I can almost
I'm
drink.
still relevant. I don't actually know how to say this game's name.
Probably Reyes.
Reus?
Or if it's German, it's Royce.
Reus?
Reus. Let's go with Reus. R-E-U-S.
Wow, you totally rolled the R.
For $25 and Solitaire for $10.
Oh, Solitaire.
$10 for a solitaire game?
That is a lot of money.
Get out of here.
Or open up Windows.
yeah,
You got
or
one.
that.
You got one.
Boom. Done.
All right. Out on Marketplace for October. Super Mega Base. This is the most ridiculous thing to get me to read. That we are not going to see this game in Australia.
Well, it's Games with Gold. It's free. You can
Oh,
download
yeah, it'll be
it.
everywhere.
Right. Okay. Super Mega Baseball extra innings for all month.
Just replace baseball with
month?
cricket
All month
or
long.
rugby, and it'll be fine.
Cricket.
Oh, wait, rugby's the
Super Mega
rugby's
Cricket.
the
Or
thumb,
the thumb up the
one?
butt.
Thumb up the butt.
Yeah,
Butt thumbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And
Lucy.
the Escapists. 10th of.
Oh,
the-
right.
wrong
You don't
one.
read that.
Yes,
Round
the
the wrong way.
10th
Round the wrong
of the
way.
16th month of the year.
16th of October. Okay, I'm just
Sweet
getting myself into the
16
American
number.
mindset. American mindset. 16th of October to the 15th of
The
November
16th of October.
on Xbox One. MX vs ATV Reflex from the 1st of October to the 15th of October. And I Am Alive from the 16th of October to the 31st.
Has anyone played I Am Alive?
It's stupid.
Is it?
I think I've played it.
I remember
think
when
I've
it was
played it.
first revealed, and it was like, this premise is amazing. This sounds so cool. And then I think it got completely rebooted, and it just ended up. Unfortunately, the game didn't turn out nearly as well as the idea did.
Yeah, idea's cool.
Has
And
anyone
that's the
played Alone
worst
in the...
because it's like, oh, now the idea's been blown for everyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah. Has anyone played Alone in the Dark?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Is that?
The reboot?
Oh, I guess.
The-
Because
I mean,
was just
because
like,
that's an OG horror series. That's like that predates Resident Evil.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah,
it's
but they
super
made the
rough.
new one.
It's in Central Park, right?
Yeah,
So the reason was like I was walking through Central Park on the weekend. Was like, this place is huge. Why aren't there more video games set in this park like to scale? Because there's so much different stuff in there. It was like I know Alone in the Dark was, but I don't know how
That
the
game was also bad.
performed. It was bad.
Super bad.
That sucks.
But not the cool movie Super Bad.
It's a good
The
movie.
bad video game.
shout out
Superbad.
to 2007's hit comedy Superbad.
Don't diss Super Bad.
I like
It was
Superbad.
hilarious.
I
Yeah,
like
no, it was
Superbad.
great. It was great. We all remember Superbad
Yeah.
with great fun.
All right.
Had some awesome horse jokes.
All right, let's come right back and we'll do a little trivia. We'll test Lucy on her
Oh,
Xbox
God.
trivia. Yeah, it's going to be good. Right after this. All right, trivia time. Unfortunately for Lucy, it's a Gears of War question in honor of Gears of War 4's release.
The
So-
Gears of War total newbie.
You've got a 1 in 4 chance.
Yay! I love
Why
those
not?
odds.
We guess most of the time. Don't worry.
Don't
Right.
worry about it. Brad Whiteside, who I know is a longtime listener, he's from St. Louis. His gamer tag is Holy Shadows.
I
2
thought you were going
words.
to do a good cuss. You did not.
Holy Shadows.
Yeah.
Which multiplayer map has made an appearance in every Gears of War game aside from Judgment? So basically 1, 2, 3, and 4, all the mainline Gears of War games. Is it Gridlock, Blood Drive, Jacinto, or Day 1? Mark your answers,
I
please.
hate that I don't know this for sure. I'm very mad at myself.
And I'll just let Lucy take a shot.
I have already decided which one I want it to be, even though I have got no idea.
Okay. Do you guys remember? I'll go to Alana. It's covering.
I went with
she's
Gridlock,
nervous.
which is the same as
Yeah, it's
Going-
Gridlock,
Both
right?
went with it.
It's absolutely Gridlock. You guessed Blood Drive, Lucy?
Well, I guess Blood
good-
Drive, and this is a shout out
To blood drives.
to blood drives
Everyone
everywhere.
should donate blood.
Give blood,
Give
America.
blood.
Oh, that was actually a shout out to blood drives?
No.
Oh,
I
which-
actually
Well, it was
worked.
now.
I
Now it
worked.
is.
I worked on a video game. The one video game I've ever worked on was actually released on the Xbox 360, so
Really?
it's relevant. I did dialogue, and I've said this on like a IGN podcast before. I did dialogue for a terrible car combat game called Blood Drive that was released in like
Nice.
2010.
Boy, now I got to go back and look that up.
And
cool.
I
Can we
did
do a Let's Play
dialogue
of it
and,
with
and
you?
world building stuff. It wasn't actually released in Australia or New Zealand. It was just released
game.
out here and I think in Europe. And IGN reviewed it and I think it got a 4.
Killed it.
So
As you can see, the
there
IGN
you
bias,
go.
Well, you have CMS
Lucy-
access, so you could just go in and give it a 10.
That's
Oh.
true.
All of a sudden, when we're updating games we've given a 10, we're like, what the hell is Blood Drive?
But then nobody will remember
Yeah.
it. So they're like, I guess it was a
Yeah,
10.
we gave some weird Game Boy Color games 10, so we might as well go back and do that.
Repurposed,
Yeah.
like reblogged at the top of the blog.
We gave Skyward Sword a 10. That's more offensive.
Terrifying.
So that brings our yearly total. Marty at 15 points for the year.
I did it.
I gave Destin a fair shot since I threw Destin off the show so that Lucy could be here.
Oh, I
and
feel terrible now.
Don't feel terrible.
He's fine.
He's totally fine. So I gave him a shot at the trivia before we came on, and he did get it right. So Marty at 15, Destin at 13, Alana at 8. Just stop being sick and going to shows, and you will catch up. I promise you.
No,
Going to Australia in 2 weeks.
Well, there you go. And everybody else pretty far behind. So there it is.
What's Mitch on?
Mitch is frozen in time forever at 6 points.
Maybe we should like phone him one day and be like, "Hey, Mitch, you want to enter?"
Your question is worth 12 points to catch you up for the lead.
Remember last year when Mitch clearly beat Destin, gave Destin an extra shot, beat him again, and then gave him a third shot, and then Destin won?
That was pretty great.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Mitchie D.
kind of sad that I got it wrong because I want to be on the list.
I know.
Well, there's other people with 0, I think, are Steve Gaynor and
Yep.
Nathan Vella. So
Yep.
you're in good company
Okay,
with
all right.
0.
Yeah.
Just Skype me in now and then,
Okay.
so I can
Can we
catch
do
up.
that?
You're very asleep at the time we record the show.
I don't care.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You would be. It's
I'm very competitive.
gonna be like 3 a.m.
I'm gonna
I'll
show
wake up.
you. Yeah, I'm gonna show you this tape when we do call you, and you're like, "F you." You know what time it is. Then I'll just play the tape.
Yeah.
See, it's you. You
Very
said.
competitive.
So by the way, Brad Whiteside, Alana, what does he win?
Well, it's like, well, we
You're
have,
the one that brought this up.
we have 3 options. So we have a bunch of collector's edition statues. One from Gears of War 4. There is one from Recall and Battlefield 1 as well. So we have a whole bunch of those that we'll be giving out.
just
across
the
next couple
statues,
weeks.
though. It
Just the
does
statues,
not include the game.
Not the whole game. No.
You should
So,
probably get a Gears of War one. He asked a Gears of War question. He likes
yeah,
those boys.
Let's give Brad the Gears of War 4. It's the JD on the bike.
The motorcycle statue.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
On your bike?
On your bike. But we
On
also
your bike,
have.
mate.
It's a thing that I really want to start saying more often, but I always forget to say it. On your bike means like GTFO in Australia.
Huh.
It's like on your bike. Like get out.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's good.
I've
but yeah.
actually never said it. That's the first time I've ever said it.
It's so great.
That's not true. You said at the bar the other night, 'cause I
Oh,
brought it
yeah.
up.
And then we were like, no one said
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I'll totally say that.
Well, we're going to
you
start
don't.
saying it
You
now.
on your bike. All right. So yeah, we have a bunch of these to give away that.
I'm gonna try that with my 5-year-old at bedtime. On your bike. She's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?
Americans
Who
say
are
it, it's
you?"
just like a weird British accent.
Yeah.
On my
Like,
bike. It's really funny.
like Cockney.
Yeah. So should we, for the person who submits the next question, should we give them the option to like pick which collector's edition they want?
Do we have? Is it just the one Gears of War statue?
We have 3 for each.
Oh, that's okay. That's so. You're saying we want to offer them a choice then
Yeah,
of
which
we
one
got
they want.
all these to give away.
Gears, Recore, and Battlefield.
Yep.
Okay. Again, just the statues, not the games.
Yes.
Correct.
All right. Well, I guess that sounds like some pretty
Mm-hmm.
sweet prizes
We can do that.
on hand there. So Brad Whiteside will get one of those, and if you would like to win one of those, just play along. Send in an Xbox-related trivia question. Include 4 multiple choice answers. Note the correct one in your email, and in this case, we're going to need your actual physical mailing address. So please include that and send all of it to unlocked@ign.com.
Mm-hmm.
For the love of God, it's somehow been over about an hour.
We didn't go over an hour. That's amazing.
We absolutely.
We're
went over
about
an hour.
to, because this last rambly bit's going to take 5 minutes.
Oh, we've got 15 seconds. All right. You guys want to talk about horses?
Yeah. Let's bring it back.
Guys, let's ride off into the sunset. That's what horses do.
Yeah.
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 Horse.
I don't think horses ride off into the sunset.
Yeah, they do.
They are ridden. I don't think they ride.
They don't
No,
ride
They
themselves.
don't ride other horses off into
But
the sunset.
people ride the horses off into the sun. So,
Hey.
I know where you're
Oh,
That was a
man.
sex joke.
I know it was a sex joke.
I wasn't telling you. I was telling the camera. The camera doesn't know. It's
It's
not
a machine.
sentient.
It's just an
machine.
innocent camera.
It's not innocent after all these years.
If you want to not have ads on IGN and you want to support us, you can do both of those things in one fell swoop with IGN Prime. Give us $30 and we'll give you 1 year of no ads on IGN. Go to IGN.com/Prime if you'd like to sign up. Lucy, Where can we follow you, see what you're up to? What are you working on IGN? This is your chance to plug you
Oh, just my Twitter handle?
and whatever else you want to say.
Oh, all right. Well, you can find me on Twitter at Luce O'Brien, Luce, and then my last name. And then otherwise, I'm just on IGN.
O'Brien with an E,
I don't
right?
really. O'Brien with an E.
Yes.
I don't really.
What would
I'm not
O'Brien
really.
without an E be?
Well, some people spell it like that because they think it's like Brian, like it's like.
Like the name, like the first name. Right?
Yeah, like the first name.
Just trying to help
I
out.
hadn't even
Yeah, so
considered
a lot
that.
of people like who
sorry.
get mad at me in the comments call me Lucy O'Brien, and for some reason that infuriates me more than their comment. Like
Yeah.
the
People
fact that they
spelling it
get
wrong?
my name spelled wrong.
Yeah.
That's just really
Especially if your
grinds
name
my
is like
gears.
written in the author byline and they spell it wrong. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
my
Right
name's
there
right
for
there.
you.
You spell my name wrong.
exactly. Otherwise, of course, you can find me on IGN.com. But I don't have a YouTube channel. I don't have Instagram really.
You have the Happy Hour podcast.
Yeah, so like, please do check out our Phil Spencer Happy Hour podcast because we're removing it from the Pubcast brand. But if you do want to listen,
Kicked out of the bar.
If you do want to listen to a bunch of Australians drinking and talking about video games, you can check out the IGN Australia Pubcast on iTunes every fortnight.
Also
it-
being renamed the On Your Bike Cast.
It's also,
On your bike.
as of
it
now,
just-
I'll just let the guys
Yeah.
know.
Is it just nothing but Luke Riley drunkenly praising Forza Horizon?
So when he talks about, because I'm not into car games like at all. Like at all. It is
Yeah.
the one genre that I just don't touch because I'm just not interested. And he is like the number one car guy.
Yeah.
he's amazing. He knows that genre.
Inside and out.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
And he will talk about it at length. So during
Have
those,
you played Forza Horizon 3?
Actually, I have not, but I intend to
Because there is a
I
sh-
do know that it is all Australian
is.
dwellers should,
There is like
should
a
play it.
shocking amount of people who love that game who usually don't like car games.
AUS. AUS.
Yes,
Right?
that's
See what I did?
Yeah, that's
It was great. Right?
Aus.
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 It's Austin, Texas. There you go.
Yeah.
Good airport.
It was
Good
Austria,
airport.
right?
They have a nice airport. It's AUS. That's like their airport code.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Anyway, my
Okay, good.
point is
I'm
that
real good at airport codes.
I do go on bathroom breaks during those times because
Nice.
I just don't
Drink a lot?
I drink a lot of beer and I'm just
Can we start going on
Those
bathroom
beer
breaks during
peas, man.
podcasts? Like if Desmond starts talking about Destiny, can I leave for a little bit?
It's a free country, man.
Yeah.
Do
I
whatever
yeah,
you want.
you can.
AUS.
See, that is the benefit of an all audio podcast is that people just don't know when you leave.
Through the power of editing,
Yeah.
Power of
they'll
editing.
never know.
Wow, that is really smart. You just think you'd be quiet for a bit.
Yeah.
That's great.
So yeah,
things
that's
you
where
could
you
do.
can find me on IGN.
How often do you record that?
Once. Well, we try to keep it at once a fortnight, but because we're a small team, we can't always.
That's
Because I'm
every
coming-
2 weeks for you American
Yeah,
listeners.
sorry.
that's the
every
thing.
every 2 weeks.
So because I'm going to Australia in 2 weeks, and I was thinking about working out of the Sydney office for the first week that I'm there, which is like November 1st to up until PAX Oz.
Oh, then you should definitely be on a podcast.
That would be fun.
Yeah. Also, I may be the only editor going to PAX Australia now.
Really?
Yeah, because we've.
Let's
ended
get
up-
drunk.
Yeah, we'll do that. Cool.
It's
Sweet, sorted. All right.
See, we're having a host exchange.
Well, you know we were going to get drunk anyway.
Oh, that's absolutely true.
yeah.
That's all PAX Oz is. Yeah. You just get real drunk. That's great.
Alana, what would you
AUS.
like to
Austin, Texas.
tell us about yourself?
I am at Charalanazard. Nobody knows how to spell it. I was at NYC, New York Comic Con. The whole of last week, we got like 14 toy slideshows up and a bunch of cool videos. So there was tons of awesome toy stuff there. That's all up on the site. And a really cool cosplay roundup. There was insanely cool cosplay there. So yeah, that's all on IGN.com.
Was it cool Overwatch cosplay? Because that's what I'm really into Overwatch
There
cosplay.
was several Overwatch butts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot
They
of
had this thing
butts.
called an Overwatch train where it was just like this huge line of Overwatch cosplayers like walking through the convention. It was like Overwatch butts. 'Cause they're all really, they wear like the really tight clothing and
Yeah.
game has fabulous butts.
Yeah, it sure does.
What's a good Overwatch cosplay?
Welcome to IGN Asscast.
I thought it was the IGN
Well, I'll be a
podcast.
horse's ass cast.
Hey! Oh, thank you for bringing it full circle.
That was great.
That's what I do. Marty?
What I do.
I'm at McBiggity on everything. Check out my Mafia review. And if you're in town this weekend for our 20th anniversary party,
that's
we're all
the
going to be
thing.
there.
Probably should have
Yeah.
mentioned that
Yeah.
So say hi to
earlier
us.
in the part of the podcast where people actually are still listening. Oh well.
It's fine. It's probably too late.
Well, we're
by this
having a
point.
party on Saturday.
If you're going to be here or if you're in the office on Friday, say hi. We're all going to be doing things there.
And
Probably.
here also.
Don't steal things off our desks either.
You steal
Yeah,
things
don't
off
do
Alana's
that.
desk. It's
No,
fine.
especially not mine. There's so
Yeah.
much expensive stuff on my desk.
Yeah, like that Banjo-Kazooie vinyl that you stole from me.
You still haven't taken it back. It's
Because
just
I'm not a
there.
thief.
What?
Two
It's
wrongs
yours.
make a right.
Ah.
What are you talking about?
I don't
Right?
think
Thank
that's
you,
how that
Ryan.
works.
You're a great dad.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I'm really instilling positive lessons.
Yeah.
Oh, also, I'm reviewing Skylanders. If you didn't already pick up on that.
I already reviewed that for you early in the podcast if
Hashtag
you were paying
Diablo
attention.
clones.
Plastic toys, 7.8.
Yeah, this one's got Crash Bandicoot.
It does have Crash Bandicoot. By the time this is up, the embargo should be up. I won't have it done by the time the embargo is up. Review should be up the next couple of days. But one of the cool things is the PS4 version, not the Xbox version, has Crash and like a full Crash level where there's like a boulder chasing you. It's like Crash running towards you perspective. It's super cool.
Xbox version should have blinks.
Can we just take my Mafia review and then replace Mafia 3 with Skylanders and see what happens?
That's a great idea.
The-
You were really
incredible
moved by the
story.
incredible story and
Yeah.
the way that it didn't pull its punches when it dealt with race relations in the American South in 1968.
Racial issues in Skylanders. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's a review exchange. It'll be fun. You can find me on Twitter at DMC_Ryan. Check out my Gears of War 4 review. And I guess that's probably it. I don't even know what else we're doing. Just that house party thing. If you want to come meet us and say hi, and you're in San Francisco, Saturday's the day.
We should also have Gears of War 4 Let's Plays up on the channel if
We
they're not
recorded them.
already up.
We recorded them a long time
like
ago.
a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right
But-
when we first got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we first got it, but I was out sick and everything's been a disaster. So if they're not up, they will be soon, and it'll be great.
Yeah. Also,
Is that horse a horse?
Also, yeah.
Who knows?
There was
Find out on
Oh,
our
that
Let's
was
Play.
that was where we started talking about horses.
It was.
Was that horse?
Oh,
Was
okay,
Gears of
right,
War,
right,
yeah.
right, right.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, that was the first horse.
That was
Yeah,
the
was
first
it a
horse?
horse?
Yeah.
All right,
Of
thank
course.
you for listening
Of
to
course.
Horsecast Unlocked.
Great minds.
Oh, that was great. Of course.
Oh, man.
All right.
We're leaving. Bye. See you next week.
Bye.
Thanks, Lucy.
Great.
Yay. Thanks for coming
Thanks,
to
guys.
our hemisphere and visiting us.